Is Tamara home? Hi, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Uncensored Horror. The three of us together, the three strangest people you've ever met. Anyway, we're here. We're back. We are ready to talk. We're summoning the OG three powers of Uncensored Horror because it's time for slasher territory. We love a slasher. We all know that we love a slasher. And we are going to probably, look, I'm going to expose my cards nice and early. Probably one of the best modern day slashers, if we're honest. But anyway, how are you, first of all, ladies and gentlemen? How are you, my luscious serial killer Luke? How are you?
Actually, speaking of dying, I nearly did yesterday. So we decided to clean. I don't know how relevant this is to Uncensored Horror. Was doing my yard, right, and like loads and loads of like palm fronds and stuff to the dump in like 38-degree heat. So I actually had like a little mini stroke, and I've decided now that I will be much nicer to my dogs because they were trying to revive me. Like they were getting water and stuff and like rubbing it all over me, and I'm like, oh, they actually care. So maybe I should too.
You should be nice to your animals. Katie, your animals were Katie's animals were trying to scare the shit out of her when she was watching.
Yeah, quite opposites. My animals don't give a shit about me. You know, they have decided quite early on that, you know, if I die, they're just going to eat my body. So whatever, it is what it is. And you know,
well, that was my very real fear too, Katie. That they were like, if I collapsed during like having my stroke, that if I split my head or something, they'll be like, "Oh, food." But no, they were actually genuinely concerned. It seemed.
Well, I was telling my handsome friend Steve here that, you know, I always knew this is a scary movie. I forgot how friggin' scary this movie was. And, you know, Kurt Russell...
Have we told the audience what it's about? I mean, obviously they know from the title of the show.
Yeah, well, you know, Kurt Russell says this is one of the scariest movies he's ever seen. And if McCready says it's scary, it's fucking scary. So
the McCarthy agrees. So, yes, we will not bury the lead any further. Today, ladies and gentlemen, ghouls and goblins, killers and scream queens, we are discussing 2008's The Strangers. I can't believe it's that long ago.
Okay,
to be honest with you.
You have to use that shot.
I have to because that's the moment where shit hits the fan for me. We will talk about it.
And that shot is where my cat started meowing at the door. So I'm watching. Okay, so I'm just spoiler alert. I'm watching this movie in a dark, empty house. No one's home but me and the cats, and they're starting to meow at my empty. You know, the door's open in my bedroom, and the cats are meowing at the door. And that's the scene that they started meowing at. So
yeah, of course they do.
Like I'm done.
They know stranger danger when they see it.
Yep, done.
They
and they're gonna eat my body. And they're gonna eat my body, and that's it.
So as we were saying, The Strangers is a 2008, my God, psychological horror movie written and directed by Brian Bertino. Now, this is one of those movies that is inspired by real events. Now, this is the first installment in a series, and we'll discuss that a bit later, which is why we're starting to do this now. But the movie is inspired by, of course, the Manson Tate LaBianca murders and a series of break-ins that occurred in Bertino's neighborhood when he was a child. It's also got some similarities to the Katy Cabin Mountain murders. So there's a little bit of reality soaked into this strange story of killers and now I saw this at the movies. I saw this at the movies first time, like in 2008. I was there. I witnessed it, and I think, did you guys go to the cinemas to see this when it came out?
I think I did. No. I can't remember. It's been so long. But, you know, rewatching this, you notice just like a whole lot of genre references. Like, I don't want to spoil it, so I guess...
Talk about it when we get there.
Well, some things I can bring up, like the neighborhood houses were created to look like some famous horror houses like Amityville, just to name one. and there were some other horror references, and we'll get there.
We'll get there.
We'll get there. But this is really one of those movies where it's scary because it's realistic, but it's also scary because it's pulling from some of the scariest moments in other scary movies.
Definitely.
And doing
It's
it very well.
taking it back to the streets like Halloween did all those decades ago.
Mhm.
Taking the horror out of, this was the generation of many Saw sequels and all that kind of stuff. So we were not really thinking about our literal own backyards when it came to horrible things happening. And this movie, I think anyone who's seen it will tell you that it is a scary movie. I think this is one of those ones that gets you right in the backyard because
it definitely embodies that sense of dread. Yeah, it's got that real sense of dread throughout the film because you just know it's going to get worse and it's already bad. So,
I think home invasion horror hits differently, right?
Yeah, because it's so real. It's not one of those like possession monsters where it's like, that's never gonna happen because like
zombie serial killers. Yeah,
right. It's not. It's you have to take yourself out of it to make yourself feel scared. This you have to like convince yourself it's not gonna happen. Maybe it's not gonna happen. Like
statistically, it probably won't. But things like, let's be like, we know the crime rate here right now, Steve, is really high, and it is home invasions right now, and like people stealing cars and things. A doctor just got stabbed during a home invasion, so it's like
it looks like your own backyard. It looks like your house. It looks like your parents' house. It looks like your house.
Yeah,
it's very.
I was a bit taken because I've just spent so much time near where you are, Katie, driving around going, oh, I like watching it last night. Watching it last night, I was like, this is like I can relate. I can relate to this. Yeah.
It's scary because it's a very real scenario.
Yeah. I watched the unrated version, so there might be a couple of little extra scenes in there. It's the only version I watch now because it's the version I own, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
so there's a theatrical cut.
Yeah, I don't think I watched the unrated version, but
it's got a few extra scenes and it makes it a bit like, oh, okay. So
make it scary. It's okay. It's okay.
So the Strangers follows a couple in distress, James Hoyt and Kristen McKay, played brilliantly by Scott Speedman and Liv Tyler. This movie, I think, could have gone a very different way had it not been in the hands of these actors. I think that they both did an amazing job at not only the horror aspects, but that whole fractured relationship moment. That the beginning of this movie is so uncomfortable, but for another reason. Yeah, like that whole they've returned from a wedding and he's proposed to her and she has said no. This all like unfolds in the first 20 minutes or so of the movie, but that uncomfortable vibe is there straight away. Pretty much, you're like, I mean, we get
you're right, Steve. Like, if we didn't have brilliant performances, this story wouldn't have flew. Like, it needed solid performances behind it to get it off the ground.
Well, I think makes it so tense is because you can tell they still very much care about each other, and it's heartbreaking because neither of them want to hurt each other.
That's what I just said to Katie. Like, I've literally just finished. We're doing a double recording today, so I've just finished the second movie. Like, I've been on an emotional roller coaster. I need a moment to calm down. So talking it through is going to be good. So they are staying at James's uncle's house, I believe. Or no, James, their family, his family home.
It's James's parents' summer home.
Parents, yes. So they're staying there after the wedding, and he thought it would be a big romantic moment. So there's champagne and rose petals everywhere, and it's just kind of awkward. It's just so awkward and like painful, and he's like, oh, okay. So James calls his friend Mike to come and get him in the morning, and this is all happening at 4 a.m. Like, I remember watching this movie the first time, and when we went back to watch it tonight, like this time, like, oh my god, this is a really long movie. That's right. It isn't though. but it's because once it starts, it gets you to that tension point really, really quickly, and kind of like edges you for the whole movie. So you're like, oh my god, this feels.
It's a little bit exhausting to be on edge for that long, isn't it?
It is, and I was like watching the time. I like purposely looked at the timing because I was like, I remember this being a long movie just because of the psychological state it puts you in. You're like, oh shit, pretty much straight away, and the fact that it happens at 4 a.m. as well. You're so close to daytime, but yet so far away.
Yeah,
like it's just that really that creepy hour of the nighttime.
It also kind of makes me wonder, where was the wedding? What time did it end? I mean, like not for nothing, but my bedtime is solidly 7:30. So what time did that end? What time?
I think
sometimes when people go to a wedding reception, like they party through the night. And, people, especially people with lives end up socializing and stuff into early hours of the morning. They might have been staying, exactly, right? This is it for us.
Socializing? What is that?
But, maybe the wedding was an hour away even. They had to get home then after the wedding.
Oh, okay. Mm-hmm.
There's not much socializing in this film, but that's okay.
No.
So James and Kristen go on this little kind of emotional roller coaster that kind of leads to that. It's like sad breakup sex that they're about to have. It's like that.
That's
unhealthy band-aids for that relationship.
He gets cock-blocked in the worst way.
Sure does.
Worst way by a knock on the door.
God damn it, Tamara.
And a blonde girl in the shadows asking, is Tamara home? So they dismiss her and she wanders off into the darkness, which is, creepy enough as it is. I wouldn't answer the door at 4 o'clock in the morning, just quietly.
Well, you would though, if there's bang, 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 bang. Like, you probably would, because you don't know if it could be the police, could be anything.
No, fuck that. Wouldn't answer. Mm-mm.
Well, the police would say it's the police. I would assume
that. No, at 4 a.m.
A killer would say it's the police too if they wanted you to open the door.
At 4 a.m. I'm not answering shit. If it's you'll come back at a normal hour.
Yeah,
nah.
Exactly.
Nah.
So,
and if you ask Jeffrey, the Ring doorbell will take care of it.
Right. Yeah. So James is doing his heartbroken male thing and wants to go and buy a pack of cigarettes for Kristen. I'd be saying you can fucking suck on the end of the dick, you bitch, for saying no. But anyway, he even lights a fire for her so she's comfortable and rah rah rah, and leaves her
and she said
alone
no
in the house. Now, once she is alone, we get another at the door. She's back. She's back. She's back, asking for Tamara. And that's, I don't know. Even then, I was like, this is not good. I just remembered that, this is not good.
Mm-mm.
See, the second knock, you call the police then, it's like, okay, this is now harassment. This is weird. They've already told this idiot that there's no Tamara here.
This is not okay.
And this is why you shouldn't have answered the door the first time.
Yeah, so Kristen kind of gets terrorized here. The chimney flue gets closed on her, so, the house starts to fill with smoke.
Isolating her further from
the smoke alarm goes off. I love the cell phone though. That was very much put it in 2008 for me. I was like,
oh yeah, the flip phone.
Cute.
Classic.
Yeah.
I'm gonna make a call.
Right. There needs to be a call. I've got a phone. But this is where this moment happens, and it is one of the creepiest shots.
He just kind of crawls out from the dark. Oh.
But that's the problem. He's just there, and there's no music. The thing that's so I think, effective about it is that there is no musical sting or anything. She's in the frame, and then all of a sudden he's in the frame with her, and she has no idea.
Oh, God,
Like, that is the scariest thing to me. I don't know why.
there's no creaking.
Well, it upset Katie's thingies at the time. Like, you know, even they knew some shit was going down.
Oh, God. It's so upsetting. Like, how did he get
And then all of a sudden, as I was saying to Katie, all of a sudden the camera starts to do some interesting, like the camera gets unsteady and it starts to pulse and all that kind of thing. Yeah, we go for it. It starts to autofocus. We get it's like a visceral reaction from the camera to what's happening too, which is really, really cool. Everything's been a nice steady shot. Oh yeah, I just like.
Oh no! It makes your stomach turn like immediately. It's like oh.
But no. even worse, right? The thing is, when she sees the smoke alarm that she's knocked down onto the floor, sitting on the chair.
Yep.
I would die.
No, I'd be.
I would probably just have a massive heart attack on the spot and just be dead on the ground.
I think I don't even think I'd be thinking. I'd just be running. Like I think I'd.
Because you know that fell. Like, you know that fell.
It would be...
I think the old me would be like, I would be still really scared, trust me. Like, the shit's going down. But I would be arming myself to the teeth at this point. I'm like, no, you're going to die, bitch, not me, you little blonde bitch.
It would be a death threat for me. It would be a channeling those track and field days and running.
Yeah, this is the start. This is
you
the
got
start
a good sports bra, bub.
The shit hitting
Black eyes
the fan because then she goes for her phone, and the phone's gone. Like, someone's in the house. I don't like that. I can't imagine. It makes my body react, you know, like that feeling.
In the house.
You know, yeah, it's
and
very.
You would know too, like if they're sneaking around and doing that stuff too, they're not there to rob you or anything. Like some bad shit's going to happen, right?
Girl. It's
and she's
It's hitting all those spots where you're like running upstairs instead of out the door. It's just like, oh,
and just God. That. The realization that Liv Tyler, like her performance, that it is that slow build of going, oh my God, that wasn't there before. Oh my God, the phone's gone. All those fucking bangs of shit getting thrown at windows and stuff just catch you out of nowhere. She arms herself finally, but then when she opens that curtain and that mask's there, that is full force, code red, diarrhea, all over the floor moment. Like
they call them a code brown.
Yeah, I would shit that hard, there'd be blood.
Okay. So you would have a code red, girl. All right.
Code red.
You'd have a little anal aneurysm, would you, sweet?
I would. As if you wouldn't. I mean, there's nothing worse in movies, and like just when you suddenly turn around, there's someone there. You're like, and then she comes out of there, and that front fucking door is open that she locked from the inside. It's like
run straight at it.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. And she goes further into the house. All these dumb choices.
I know, but
these women.
I just don't know. Like, if that door was, I would just crap. I would just like.
It's awesome. That's all you can do in these movies.
Yeah, she closes the door, and then Dollface is sitting there looking back at her. You know, she manages.
So what were the three masks again? Because I haven't refreshed recently.
Okay, so
I'm going.
So we'll talk. I want to talk about the masks in just a sec. So
okay.
She locks herself in the bedroom, but they are inside that fucking house because they're banging on walls. They're like,
oh God, just chill.
They're in that house, and then
they're gonna get you.
The music stops, and she hears the footsteps coming up the hallway. I remember being in the cinemas, just holding on to the fucking seat press, going, "Bitch, you gonna die right now," only to find James has returned home. So we're going to have a break in the tension now. As Luke was just saying, I think a big part of this is obviously the acting,
No.
but another part of it are these masks. I mean, they are creepy. So you've got Dollface, which is the one to the left. You've got the Sack Man, and then you've got the Pin-Up Girl.
Yeah.
And they're just like human, but not human.
No.
You know, like enough, just creepy enough to be really unsettling. And I think that they go a big way into you know, pushing that fright level further. So Kristen's at this point, you know, justifiably scared shitless, and he doesn't believe her straight away. Do you agree?
Yeah.
I think he believes that she saw like the girl that they've like been talking to, but I don't think he believes that she saw the guy in the mask.
Until he goes outside.
Yes.
Until he goes outside, and the car that he just drove has been
But you know, typical
fucked up,
typical gaslighting son of a bitch.
and sees
And let's be
Dollface
honest,
watching.
they come back from a
watching
wedding
him.
reception. They may have been a little bit inebriated still. So, you know, things don't really register.
I'm just teasing. And then there's
Oh,
you know,
look,
but, you know,
they
then there's
do
Steve,
make-
who is a constant stream of shit through the house.
They do make a smart decision and try and leave, but the strangers are one step ahead of them, and you know, ram them with that big old truck and force them back into the house. It's like, oh, okay, they tried to do the smart thing, props, but you still got fucked up. Like, you are not
But
going to
the thing
make
is,
it.
they tried to do the smart thing about 3 steps too late.
Yeah, but look, I am willing, as you know, horror fans, we can suspend our disbelief a certain amount, especially
And,
at 4
and let's
o'clock
be
in the
honest,
morning after you've been in a
these
wedding.
aren't the
I think-
dumbest. These aren't the dumbest victims or survivors in a horror film. Like, we've
No,
seen
they're
some real
not.
dumb stuff.
No, they're not the dumbest.
not that we've
ones,
come
but-
across. And I think what makes it really interesting and it keeps that tension is there's always something happening in the background in this movie. Like, they'll be darting through the woods and you won't see who it is. Or, you know, there's someone sitting on the swing set. You know, they're just out of shot.
I liked the use of the music as
Yeah.
covering their tracks.
Yeah, right.
I liked that a lot. It was efficient, and it was unnerving because you knew what it was doing.
Yeah, and anytime you hear the music, oh, for fuck's sake, something's going to
Oh
happen.
God, it's gonna.
Something's going to happen.
Oh God.
But it was really, it kept you off kilter as well because you didn't know what was going to happen when.
Mhm.
Like, yes, they've just been pretty much bombarded back into the house. They get the shotgun, which is amazing. You know, they do the right thing.
Except
They do the right thing.
Except he admits he doesn't know how to load it or use it. But
Well, we
he
find out
pulls
very soon that he does know how to
Who in
use
his
it.
group who can load a shotgun and use one? I've never had to. I can do it really good in Fortnite. But, you know, I just press the button.
he pulled it together.
Yeah,
And because-
I have shot a shotgun. I've never put one together.
Listen, he pulled it
Oh,
together.
I've shot
because
one actually. I have, but I never put it together, and it was already ready to go.
James
Yeah.
pulled it together because
And they hurt. They hurt like a mofo. Like in the movies when you see like
Recoil.
little people just like shooting shotguns at people and running along, I'm like, that's not real because that landed me on my ass nearly when I shot it.
That recoil, baby.
our friend in the sack mask comes through all here's Johnny on him, and he definitely came through with the shotgun.
Pumps one out. Yeah. Pumps one out. I thought, oh, that's a good one. But
I gotta be honest.
Oh, it's a good one.
After
exactly.
fucking hate you. After he admitted that he didn't know how to load.
And then he certainly knows how to discharge it. Let's put it that way. It was bang. And as
Prematurely.
as poor Mike finds out, poor Mike was trying to do the right thing. Mike's trying to be a good buddy, and this is where the extended scene happens, because in the theatrical cut, does the sack face guy follow Mike around the house?
Yes. He ominously follows him.
I think it's a bit longer in the theatrical cut because he is behind him. But as soon as he gets in the house, he's behind him with his fucking axe going.
Yeah, he's following him, and then the music stops, and
music stops,
and Mike
gets
Mike
dispatched.
gets shot, and Sackhead is mysteriously missing.
Yeah, and that scene, I thought that part was played really well too. When he goes, like, after I've shot someone, oh my god, and he knows he shot someone because there's blood everywhere. Why wasn't he wearing a mask? Why wasn't he wearing a mask?
Yeah, he wasn't. He said that he wasn't wearing a mask.
Yep.
He wasn't wearing a mask.
Why wasn't he? Yeah. Oh, they realize he's shot his fucking best friend in the head with a shotgun. They're obviously very fucking traumatized at this point. It's just like, oh god.
Yeah, I'd say, like, if the wedding wasn't off before, it's not happening now. Like, there's just too much now.
I know there's trauma bonding, but there's also trauma like, holy fuck. What the hell?
I can't remember now. Did they ever go after his phone?
Yeah, it happens at the end. I'm going to talk to you about that because I can't remember what happens in the cut. So, Mike, wait, am I in the wrong? Oh, there's cat ass everywhere. Cat ass.
Traitors.
James.
See, they know we're talking about the movie again. See, it's got them hooked.
They're traitors.
James remembers that there is a radio transmitter, of course, outside in the ominously dark shed/barn. So he leaves her in the house. I don't know. If this was happening to me, the last thing I would be doing is split up.
You don't split up in a horror movie.
You don't split up.
You don't.
You don't.
When you know now it's for real.
Yeah,
it's
for real.
I'll just go and investigate that strange noise. Like, there's shit going on there.
Pretty sure Randy Meeks established this rule back in '96.
Yeah.
Did he not?
He did, but
he did.
I know he got too, but
James is trying to be a hero, trying to be the man, trying to be the man, and thinks he can take Pin-Up Girl when he comes across her in the backyard, only to be, knocked unconscious by the sack-headed man in the mask. And the shotgun goes off, which, makes Kristen react. She runs to the barn. Now,
what did she trip over?
I don't know, but whatever, it fucking hurt, because I felt that in my shins.
I did too,
I was
but at first I thought she got caught in a trap, and I was just kind of reeling, and then I realized there's nothing there, and I thought, you clumsy bitch.
I think it must be something like, I have a very, I don't know, when I was at school, we were doing a cross-country down on this little, field that they'd nominated, and there was a big bit of rebar sticking out of and I ran into that. So I liken that pain. I'm like, I feel that pain. I'm like, oh god, my shins.
It's very possible.
I've got a terrible shin injury as well. Like, I fell down a thing at school. I got pushed, actually. We and this boy were play fighting, and we both fell down this garden bank. And we were children. And the garden was built on a cement block, so my shin came down on the cement block here. I might be able to show the scar. I don't know if you can see. It's somewhere there. It's a long... Yeah, there it is.
Yeah, I see it.
So it's along the shin. It was scraped to the bone. It was awful. And I just remember the pain as a child. I still remember it now. So when she fell...
It's pain that makes you feel sick. It's that pain that goes... Ugh.
It's very possible they could have dug a hole for her to...
Yeah, something happens. I just remember, I feel pain every time that bit happens. I go, oh god.
I mean, later on she stops limping. You catch it real quick, and then she starts limping again.
Yeah. Well, it could be adrenaline. Adrenaline does good things here.
Fair enough.
Dulls those pain receptors sometimes. But I didn't realize how tense this barn scene was either, because I was trying to watch this last night at an odd hour. So I had it turned up, but I had the subtitles on as well. And it's like creaking floor. I'm like, oh shit.
Always have subtitles on.
Like, it's so... You underestimate, and watching it with the subtitles really kind of brought it forward to me. Those people knew every inch of that space. So, you know what I mean? They knew they had every intention of hunting people in that space. They knew ins and outs of the buildings. They knew all that kind of stuff. And that is scary. That is some scary shit.
It's very...
a little bit psycho.
Well, you know what I was thinking? It's a different genre, but did you ever see that Jennifer Lopez movie Enough, where she learns like the ins and outs of the house so she can effectively fight her abusive husband?
I never watched it. I never watched it. So I know she'd had enough.
Well, it's kind of like that. Like, she knew like every crevice of that house. She knew where everything was sitting in that house. So it's kind of like that. Like, they knew where everything was, so they could effectively attack them.
On theme with this movie, as soon as the radio comes to life, it gets fucking axed. You're like, just like when James comes home and they're looking for the phone and the phone's melting in the fucking fireplace. You're like, what is this life? Like, I don't understand. Like, that's fucked up.
That's a beautiful scene, though. It's like, oh, that's such a sense of dread that you just want to really instill in the audience. Like, she's fucked. It's over. No survivors.
Yeah. So yeah, this is kind of, we're getting close to the point, no pun intended, the pointy end of the thing, where Kristen is basically out there by herself and watching the carnage take place. They've set the car on fire. There is no escape. She's crippled. She's out there getting taunted by this woman with a fucking knife until, old mate comes and gets her again. He's just like this big, brutish, like, animal.
He's the muscle.
He's the muscle. Definitely knocks her out, drags her. Now this is the dragging was a lot too, through the blood, like down the hallway, and her trying to fight to stay conscious was like, oh my god, you can do it, But this is this turnabout when the sun comes up. You're like, the nightmare's usually over. Like, do you know what I mean? The nightmare is usually over when the sun comes up in these movies, but the sun comes up
and they take their masks
get
off.
open and they take off their fucking masks. Now, originally, we were meant to see them. We were meant to see their faces in the original edit of the movie. We were meant to see their faces, and they were meant to get dressed in James and Kristen's clothes and leave.
Why did they cut that out? Is that because they didn't want to identify the actors?
No, they said they did. People didn't like seeing their faces, and I think it is so much more powerful.
No, I agree.
Not seeing their faces and watching those two actors react to seeing their faces and knowing what that means.
Yeah, because if they can see them, they know they're not going to live.
They know they're not leaving. Like, they know that they're not leaving this house alive. And
exactly.
Just the two different portrayals. Like, Scott Speedman's character, he knew. Like, as soon as he was captured, he knew how this is going to end. And she's still fighting. She's still trying to bargain with them to, to stop, to go for them to leave. And again, probably the most disturbing part of this movie. Why are you doing this? Because you were home.
Oh,
because you were home. I've got goosebumps even thinking about it. It is so scary just to think it could have been anyone. If you didn't answer
the fucking door, maybe you would have lived.
It could have been anyone. Do you know what I mean? It didn't have to be them, but it could have been anyone.
Mm-hmm.
And then, they get really stabbed. They get real stabbed.
They get rolled.
They get really stabbed.
Really, really stabbed.
And
Wasn't
for a horror,
to endure.
I don't think it's gratuitous though.
No,
Because
it's
No, it's not. It was worse because, like, it was just so. By that point, it was almost like shooting a fish in the barrel. Like it was.
No,
it's psychological torture at that point.
It wasn't even
They
gratuitous.
knew it was going to happen.
Nope. It was just deep, efficient stabbing because
Yeah.
they were just making it count.
Yeah. And the thing, and it wasn't fast, it wasn't frenzied, it wasn't manic, it was slow and methodical, and that's the scariest. That's so scary.
Mm-hmm.
And her, like both of them, like having it happen to each other while they're watching is just so sadistic and so
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, that's disturbing on another level. Like I am not part of the torture porn like vibe
No.
that went through, but this is different. Do you agree?
Yeah. Well,
This one hit harder because it didn't need to be. Yeah, it didn't need to be visually grotesque. It was psychologically
And
grotesque.
it wasn't, but it was. That's the thing. It wasn't visually grotesque. You could see them stabbing them, but we're not looking at organs and stuff. We're looking at the
that's
reaction.
the difference
of the
between
actors.
torture porn. Like you're seeing them stab, but you're not. Like you're seeing the blood, but you're not seeing the blood. Like you're not seeing the gore. You're not seeing like it's not gratuitous. It's not like you're not seeing like it's not that's not the focus. The focus is the pain. The focus
it makes you focus on the actor's performance even more. Like
right, like you see them getting stabbed, but you're focusing on Scott, like Speedman, and you're focusing on Liv Tyler. You're focusing on their pain. You're focusing on them dying. You're focusing on how upset they are. You're focusing on the agony. Like it's not the main.
I still remember complete silence in the cinema after that because you're like, what the fuck just happened?
Right.
And we cut to the the car driving away. This is where it was different, Katie. This is where things changed. Okay, so in the theatrical cut, they after everyone's stabbed, you cut to the shot of the strangers driving away in their truck. There's a few daytime shots, and in the unrated version, Kristen regains consciousness.
Oh,
what?
And like heavily bloodied and tortured, but sees Mike's phone.
Oh, okay.
Crawls towards it, dials the phone. Next minute, old mate's there behind her, just kneeling down watching. Yep. Turns her over, and all she it's even worse. It's really heartbreaking because all she can do is just shield herself.
Oh god.
That's all she does.
Oh, that's too much.
And he picks up the phone and walks away.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he picks up the phone and walks away, and then we go to the shot of the car driving away.
Oh, so he doesn't even stab her again?
No, she's just like, because she's bleeding from the mouth. She's fucked up. Like she's well and truly fucked up. Yeah. So it's real. Yeah, it's real pathetic. It's real pathetic. All she's doing is like whimpering and shielding her face. It's real disturbing. It's like, oh god. So they the strangers come across two Christian bicyclists delivering the word of God. One of the boys talks into the truck and says, "Are you a sinner?" To which Dollface says, "Sometimes."
Oh god.
And as they drive away, the pin-up girl states, "It'll be easier next time."
That just goosebumps.
Yeah, it'll be easier next time. That was pretty easy for him that time. So these young boys then arrive at the house. So the original, after the John Larroquette beginning, and the phone call, this is where the movie picks up from the beginning.
Yeah.
And they discover, you know, the crime scene, and obviously dead Scott Speedman, and obviously dead Mike. But in the very last seconds, Kristen comes alive screaming as we go to black and credits roll. That last section, I was like, oh, for fuck's sake, like, it was not okay. The fact that she was still alive, I'm like, oh my God.
Speaking of not okay, those boys are definitely not okay.
Oh, yeah. They'll be trauma bonded for life. It's like, okay, cool. No worries.
Therapy bill is going to be
And look, the determination it takes. But you do read about that, like people that survive these fucking horrible, horrible attacks from serial killers.
Yeah.
I just cannot, I just cannot. So let's talk a little bit about the impact that The Strangers had, because it did pretty damn well, ladies and gentlemen. Off a $9 million budget, which is next to nothing, really, for a Hollywood movie.
For an American film, yeah.
For an American film. It dominated. It made $82.4 million at the box office, this movie. So it's become a cult classic, and I think doesn't get the recognition it deserves. There's a lot of people that haven't seen this movie. When I talk about it, I'm like, have you seen The Strangers? They're like, no, what's that? I'm like, oh, what? Where were you in 2008? Where were you? I know where I was, traumatized by this damn movie. This movie does for staying home alone what, you know, the Blair Witch Project did for camping. It's just like, no.
What Jaws
no.
Going swimming.
Not okay.
Yeah.
You know, anytime I always have it in the back of my mind, anytime in like some kind of at least rural area, I'm like, this is the time. This is it. I'm like, oh God. But yeah, I'm gonna go first and give it 3 serial killer masks out of 3. I think this is almost a perfect movie. Like it does everything it says it does. Like even the title, The Strangers, is interesting enough to make you want to watch the movie. The acting from, you know, Scott Speedman and Liv Tyler, phenomenal. She can scream like no one's business, but with a dad like
it's not a Liv Tyler kind of movie, right? Like we just saw that thing you do and things like that. So obviously the script was solid because this was a departure from her usual roles. I'm sure her agent wasn't going, yes, do it. I reckon she wanted to do it, but I don't know. I wasn't there.
Yeah, so the other 2 people that had expressed interest in that role were Tandy Newton and Charlize Theron.
No.
Oh, Charlize.
Absolutely not. No, absolutely not. Absolutely not.
Oh, I think Charlize would have done it well, but I think Liv was the one that was like, oh.
This belongs to her. Yeah, like...
Yeah.
The you know, the fates and whatever got it right, and Scott Speedman was fantastic in this movie. Like, even for the scenes that aren't horror related, like they are brilliant together. And I think there's a lot to be said for the people that played The Strangers as well. One of them was Australian, Gemma Ward. She was a model turned actress, but they all did an amazing job on making this, you know, a night to remember. Katie, what about you? What are you going to give it? What's the rating for you?
Oh, God, 3 out of 3.
What are we rating it out of first? Out of
scary silicone.
3 out of 3 masks. Oh, yeah, 3 out of 3. Oh, God.
Yeah.
Fuck this movie. Like, like, oh, God.
Fuck this movie.
Oh, God, it's still scary. It's like, I know, like, when we, like, reference it, we're like, that movie is scary. And I say, yeah, that was a scary movie. But I forgot how scary this movie is. I mean, God, it is so effectively scary in such a simple way without having to use all these, like, really CGI or, like,
music. They don't rely on music stings or anything like that.
No,
it's just
and it doesn't have
well
to be
crafted.
It doesn't have to be super gory or super bloody. It's just really simple. It sticks to the basics, and it's effective. And God, it's scary. And it's so scary because it's such a realistic scenario. It's a bunch of home invasion. It's a home invasion. It's a bunch of people breaking into your house because they wanted to break into your house. bunch of
And just
psychos.
because you
They
happen to be
wanted to
there.
do you harm. Yeah, they
Right.
want to do someone harm.
Right.
It
And
could have
Liv
been
Tyler
anyone.
actually had tonsillitis while filming this. So that bitch was screaming with a sore throat.
She did well. She did
She did
very,
very
very well.
well.
Luke, what about you? Serial Killer
I
Mask, 6 out of
will-
3?
I will concur with Katie. 3 out of 3 serial killer masks. I think this film really is a jewel in the crown, is what I was trying to say, of this kind of genre. Like, it's got everything right. It's got solid performances, great pacing, great build of tension. I don't think you could really fault this film. There's nothing that you would do differently. I think they really got it right. And yeah, I don't. If this is like something that you can tolerate, because I don't think a lot of people can sit through a movie like this either.
No, I don't think. No.
Yeah, like I know if it was someone like my mother, she'd be tapped. Tapped out when that bitch knocks at the door.
It is very
Camera home. Nope. Over.
it is very emotionally draining. So yeah.
Yeah, it's draining. It is. It's a draining movie, and I think this is the way I was thinking about it last night. For every time that Scream pulled away for a joke or for like a pop culture reference, this movie goes harder.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of like Scream's bigger sister in that kind of way. Like Scream is like there are genuine moments,
but
there are
Scream
genuine
kept
moments of
it
tension
light.
in Scream, but they like Scream goes, haha, tension joke. Okay, cool, relax. Oh my god, mystery. This one just starts at like 7 and you're at 10 within like not even 20 minutes.
This is like a feature film of the Drew Barrymore scene from Scream.
Well,
it holds you there.
Scream is pastel goth. The Strangers is just goth.
Yes, and look, it became a cult classic, but we had to wait 10 years for a sequel. 10 whole years. And the whole reason that we're talking about these movies now is because this was announced recently. A sequel, but not 1, not 2, but the Strangers trilogy. All 3 new movies. All 3 new movies are coming this year. Now, we don't know a lot about these new movies at all. They have been filmed back to back.
Tyler in any of them?
Well, we don't know. There has been a small scene that has been released. The star of this movie is Madeline Pesht from Riverdale. For those of us that she plays Cheryl Blossom on Riverdale.
Oh,
for those, she's a great actress. She's hot. She's hot. But she's also a fantastic actress. And the only thing that has been, there's been a couple of shots of the Strangers, and there's been one scene with her that is very reminiscent of the kitchen, that first kitchen scene in the still that we've shown. So,
Katie's favorite scene.
This is coming in May, folks. So we're edging you towards the first installment. So if you enjoyed The Strangers Part 1, 2008, please join us again when we discuss Strangers Prey at Night. But until then, lock the doors, baby. Grab your shotgun.
The curtain is
and,
moving.
You know.
No. Now I can hear the fan spinning in the other room. I'm like, is it me who turned it on?
Make sure Tamara's not home. Keep it creepy. A big hello out there to all of our creepy kittens and groovy ghoulies. We have come knocking on your door once again because the Strangers, they keep on a-calling, ladies and gentlemen. We have started our Strangers retrospective in the lead-up to the brand new Strangers film that is coming out this year. Actually, not 1, not 2, but 3 films. Whether they all come out in 2024 it remains to be seen. But like the Fear Street saga that was released, all these movies have been filmed back to back now, ready to go. So we have a trilogy of terror coming our way. Hopefully you checked out our last review, which was for the original film, The Strangers from 2008. At the end of that, we had to wait 10 years 10 whole years. I was gagging for a sequel pretty much straight away. I don't know about you guys. I was like, bring it on. I need to know what's happening. I need to know when.
I needed 10 years to recover.
Yeah. There's a lot of
10 years to recover. Too much emotional damage. But look, we got rock and rolled in 2018 when it finally happened. The Strangers Prey at Night was finally unleashed. Now, this one, despite the huge success of the original, it kind of just crept out, really. This movie didn't get the fanfare of the first one. And watching it again, I forgot how good a bloody movie this second one is.
It's a vibe.
I was like, it's a completely different vibe. That's the thing. The Brian Bertino movie was so claustrophobic, and you felt every inch of that house. Whereas in this one, the world is literally opened up, and that danger is everywhere. And it was very, very smartly done. I remember hearing about the concept for this for a long time. It was in development hell, obviously. And there was always that conversation about, do we see Kristen again? Is Kristen in there? I believe originally for a couple of the drafts, Kristen was the first kill. Do you think that would have damaged the first film?
I don't think it was necessary for this film.
If she survived everything and then managed to get killed, like poor Alice from...
No, I think it would have felt like a cop out, because that would be exactly like Alice from Friday 2. It's almost like if you saw her straight away in the sequel, you're like, okay, now she's dead. So I'm glad they left it alone, and this is its own thing.
It didn't need it.
I'm glad. I'm glad. Like, as a final girl fan, I think we always kind of want to know that they got away and they have a life after it. But I'm happy for Kristen just to be. Well, she survived. Hopefully she survived that last movie.
Mentally, though, did she? I reckon she's not okay.
I wouldn't be okay. I wouldn't be okay either.
They left it open-ended, obviously. So if she survived, she's not okay, and if she didn't survive, obviously she's not okay.
Well, she's not okay. Exactly. So they went into development for this movie in August of 2008.
Oh, so this was going to be a back-to-back sequel.
Straight away, yep. They were in development, and they put it on hold around, I think, 2010, because they were not sure if there was still interest in the film, in making it happen. Then it went back. There was going to be there was a press release actually saying that it was going into production April 2011. It still didn't happen. It still didn't happen. 2015, it was rumored to be in production as well. To start scheduled shooting in 2016. That didn't happen. It's just like, wow. Finally, it happens in February of 2017 that we announced casting, and there's a new director and all that kind of thing. And I think that, having a fresh director really helped this to differentiate it from the last movie. As opposed to focusing on a couple, this time we're smokers. We're focusing on a small family, and they are taking their troubled daughter, to boarding school. But as always,
why is she so troubled? Why?
Well, she's just a teenage girl. She's a teenage girl.
We're always very troubled.
Poor thing. Yeah. So they have to stop overnight at a motorhome park, and guess who just happens to have taken up residence there?
The strangers.
Three very familiar faces. You know, in Dollface, the pin-up girl, and the sack-headed guy. The neighbors you don't want to see at all, ever. And like Katie said in the last review, the way that it was shot was really made you feel the isolation. This one did it too, but because it's a holiday park and it's not the holidays, it's this false sense of safety, I guess, in this one. There are houses all around, but those houses are empty, and you don't know what's in those houses. That's scary. That's scary on a whole different level.
And she even mentioned, like, everyone picks up and leaves after Labor Day.
After Labor Day, so it's a ghost town, essentially. It's a ghost town.
Because this, real quick, Steve, because this was like 10 years in development, so was this sequel actually set 10 years after the first movie, or they don't really tell you what the timeline was? It does say in the plot, it does say it's 10 years after. Okay.
So
they've been mastering their art for 10 years.
Definitely. So that makes me question where these new movies fit. You know, there's a trilogy of new movies coming. Do they fit in the middle of The Strangers and Strangers Prey at Night? Do they happen before The Strangers? You know, who knows?
To me, if these three movies, like one was like before The Strangers, in the middle, and then present time, I think that would be a banger.
It'll be interesting to see, because I don't think these new movies are ignoring the fact that these sequels exist. I think that they are part of the universe, you know.
I just a suggestion here. I think it would be a real banger if they
we shall see. We shall see. So yes, the three strangers arrive at the trailer park first and quickly dispatch you know, the residents, or two of the residents of the trailer park. Interestingly, you don't see that violence straight away. You know, you get the is Tamara home, and you go, oh fuck,
can I just throw this out there?
Here we go again.
Does Tamara exist?
Are we ever going to find out who Tamara is? Or is she their first victim? Maybe in the trilogy.
Are you out there? Do you need help?
Maybe Luke's right. Maybe Tamara is the first person they attacked and she got away.
I just need to know.
Yeah.
Like, we have to know.
Do you need help? Call us.
Okay.
All right.
We don't
Maybe
like
Charlize Theron playing Tamara in the final sequel.
We don't like your friends, Tamara. We're not happy with your friends.
I'm Tamara right now. This is the second movie we've been talking about her, and we still can't find her.
I know. She's like
Katie's got feelings. Katie's cats are still going to eat her even in the sequel.
The cats were absent for this movie. I would not let them watch it with me. And the lights were
banned. They were banned. So after the initial murder, which is, you know, not seen, which is, I feel like where the other one, you know, got us there straight away, this one's the slow burn to get us to, you know, it was get us there and edge us with the original one. This one's going to go, oh, you want to see some violence? Not yet. Have some backstory first. So we meet Mike, Cindy, Luke, and Kinsey, who are all, you know, on the road to take Kinsey to boarding school because she's been a bad, bad girl. Now, Christina Hendricks, yeah, she's a little bitch.
My friends are going to boarding school.
Yeah, Mike is played by Martin Henderson. I was just saying to Katie, Luke and I know Martin Henderson because he's a New Zealand actor and has been in a lot of stuff. But every time this man's in a horror movie, it doesn't end well for him.
For the Americans. He is the Sean Bean.
Yes. He is. Yeah. Kinsey is played by Bailey Madison and Luke is played by Lewis Pullman. A believable family. I like the family dynamic. A lot of the time, again, with where we praise the acting of Scott Speedman and Liv Tyler last time. This cast is good together.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Like
I think both films are like perfectly cast. They've got their casting down pat.
I get the feeling that these two were young parents, you know, like they were young parents that are raising these kids the best way they don't know how, etc., etc. One of my favorite things is what's Queef? What's Queef? He's so disturbed. Like, what's Queef? It's like, oh.
I have some thoughts about the casting, and it's not bad. It's not bad, but
the only
thoughts.
My only thoughts was I feel like it was like it felt like it was just kind of a come watch this movie, here big names, only to just kind of throw them away. You know, like you could have utilized them. They were very strong cast. Like they're good actors. They're great actors, in fact. But you didn't use them to their ability.
I've got and I think I know why. Watching it again, I get why they did it. I wanted a little bit more for Christina Hendricks. I think she deserved a bit more.
Was she the mother? Yeah, she's the mother.
She's Sydney. Yeah.
Yeah, I felt like she was the one that was like a little bit like. I don't know. She wasn't badly cast, but she was like, it was just a little bit. She was a bit different to the rest.
I want to say the reference, but I'll wait until you get to the part, and then I'll say
we'll get there. So they are driving. They're driving they're driving to try and take her to boarding school, but they have to stop off on the way because the halfway point just happens to be a motorhome village where her uncle and aunt, run the place. Gee, I wonder what happened to her uncle and aunt.
Camera.
And it's a really, again, having just been over with you guys, there's no locked doors. Like it amazes me that still happens in this day and age. People don't lock their door. Well, Jeffrey Emmett doesn't lock the door. Doesn't lock his door all the time.
Why would you say that?
Because he's like, bitch, I've got a Ring doorbell. I'm like, well, lock the doors.
That was like okay. Number one, you did him dirty. Number two, you did a beautiful impression of him. Okay, so move on.
but the office to this motorhome village is unlocked. There's like food, drinks, everything just sitting there. And like the trust of small town, like of small communities.
I have
it's doing what Halloween did. Like it's going, this was a safe place. This was a safe place until the real world comes into it.
I have
and kind of fucks you up.
I have a feeling it wasn't though.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have a feeling they didn't. Yeah,
you get bad vibes about the trailer park.
No, I have a feeling like maybe like they unlocked it when they thought like the family was coming, like shortly before, and then
maybe, but still to leave it open.
In general,
I don't know.
Yeah, but no one's around. But no one's around because everyone's
still, how do you know? How do you know that no one's around?
Okay,
obviously someone was around because you got fucking murdered.
Like, turns out they were wrong.
Hello, and where are they now? Hello. It's like, oh, okay, cool. But
okay.
they are
Thank you.
These parents are struggling with their children, and that's fair. Like, that's fair. They arrive. They're trying to have one last, family moment of playing cards. When, of course, is Tamara home? No, she's not, and she just wanders off, into. It's like, I thought no one was supposed. That would be ringing alarm bells all over me. I thought no one was supposed to be here. That would be. I'm like, where is this bitch walking from? To, like, why? I don't know if I'm just a suspicious person in general.
Yeah, but you wouldn't assume that something really bad's gonna happen. You just think, oh, it's a weirdo. Like, whatever.
Well, and I don't remember whether it was the dad or the mom offering to call someone for her. Like, do you need some help? I'll, call
Yeah, it
someone
was.
for you.
I think it was the dad. I think it was Mike. Yeah.
And meanwhile, if it were me, I'd be like,
you get off my property. Call that fucking 911 girl.
Like, hi,
Walk that
we're
fucking
in a
duck.
seasonal property, and it's no one's here. Someone's here. You might want to check that out. They, I'm not one to call the cops all willy nilly, but that's suspicious.
That's very Karen-like, Katie. Like, oh, someone just knocked on my door. Send a car. Like,
I'm a white woman in distress. Help me.
Yes, that is very my MO. But listen, if I'm in an abandoned trailer park that is seasonal.
Yes. Why are there people where did this bitch come from? Is my question. Like
that's lurking in the shadows. Yeah, I'm gonna be a little. That's a little. Yeah. But I would have
called the cops
because there's
I would have called
a different race wandering around.
I would have
called. So Steve, you would have went full Karen as well.
In an abandoned trailer park, yes, I would have, because it was, again, early hours of the morning. Like, it was late at night, early hours of the morning that they had stopped there. Like, what's this bitch wandering away into the darkness for? Like, holy fuck, come on. And then even stranger, these kids go for a walk.
Like, we would do that too. We would. Come on. Someone just knocked on the door. No one cares.
Yeah, let's wander out into the dark weirdness. That's a great idea.
Yeah, I'm going to let my kids wander out when there's a, stranger.
I mean, look, when I was like at a friend's house one night, we thought it was just great to go skinny dipping in crocodile-infested water. Like, sometimes we do strange things when we're young.
Luke, there's a strange person wandering around, a suspicious strange person wandering around, and you're going to let your kids go wander around with said strange person?
Well, they were bad parents. They've obviously failed because the daughters are mental. So, yes.
The daughter's problems are not their failure. Their failure is letting their children go wander out with a serial killer. That's their failure.
Then their children rapidly discover the mutilated bodies of their aunt and uncle. Lucky them.
That was their failure.
Lucky.
That's when you call the police. That's when you go, oh, yeah, okay.
Well, look, the calling of the police was going to try and happen, because meanwhile, back at the bloody trailer, of course, we get her.
This bitch back
is
again.
Tamara home, and that's when Cindy's like, "Okay, something's not right." Mama Hen's like, "Find me them kids." Find me them kids. It's like, okay, who they find, and they are obviously hysterical because they've just seen mutilated bodies
of their loved ones.
Of their loved ones, and the writings on the window, just like in the last movie. It's like, okay, yes, mutilated bodies, but when there's messages and stuff, that's premeditation, people. That's something going on. It's time to run. So when Mike and Luke go back to find the bodies, Kinsey and Cindy return to the trailer to find all of their cell phones damaged in a pile together.
But see, this is another stupid part. Like, you question why they let them go walking, but now they've separated again. Oh, let's leave the women together. They won't get picked off.
Whoa.
No, let's be honest. I would not be leaving my mother and my daughter or whoever on their own when there's fucking dead people around. No.
Yeah, I would be splitting up.
No.
I don't think...
Sorry, it's the chauvinist in me, Katie. I would look after you. Okay, Bubs?
I feel like I would do better on my own that way.
In general, baby, I think they all what they should have done is gone and gotten the phones, gotten in the car and driven away. You don't question when somebody says, I have seen a mutilated body.
Yeah, I feel like that the move would be to get in the car.
I know the kids are fucked up, but they know they're not that fucked up, right?
Yeah,
Like,
the move is to get in the car and go.
To get them, but again, that's finding those phones all A together, B all fucking fucked up. That's like, oh no.
I mean,
oh no, that's the oh no moment. Yeah,
just get in the car and go. Just get in the car and go.
Yeah. And that slow burn moment when she's on the phone. And I think Cindy gets it before anyone else, because even the way she's talking on the phone, I think she knows that they're still in the house. Before Kinsey can react to Dollface being there. Mum knows, she's got that extra sense. It's like, oh god.
These might be some of the dumber people in a horror movie. Yeah.
Look. Yeah. And this is where I think we got a little shortchanged. I think this first attack / kill, I feel like Christina Hendricks deserved a little bit more.
They Drew Barrymore.
Yeah.
It was a bit of a lackluster. Like, I sort of was a bit shocked when she got off. I was like, is that her? Is she gone already? Like, is that it?
They Drew Barrymore. Like, they drew you in with her name and then they killed her.
I think, because we've got to remember she was a big celebrity around that time. Mad Men was like, the show. So to have Christina Hendricks in the movie is the thing. But for the story that they're trying to tell, and I think, and we talked about it before, I think this movie is all about, for want of better explanation, realizing that your parents can't save you.
Okay, I get that.
And
then you're going to have to test. Not that the kids were not strong, because they were.
Oh, they were, but I just feel like they sidelined the parents that way because that's the story they wanted to tell, but it could have just been done a little better in Mum's case. We'll talk about Dad a little bit later on.
But do you reckon as the mum was...
If we had a little bit more of a chase scene, I don't know.
My thing is... If you're going to focus on the kids...
Yep.
Which, fine, great. And they were great. They were.
Yep.
Maybe bigger names, if that's what your focus is.
I don't know. I don't think you needed bigger names. I think they were strong enough actors to do it. And
that girl has been in everything. She has. Yeah. She's one of those people like, oh, I remember her. She's been in this, and this. Yeah. You just don't know her name.
Yeah. I think, and this is going to set, for someone who's not about the gore, this is going to sound out of character. But I think Cindy's death scene would have had more impact, right? So she got Kinsey up and out. She did the mum thing. She did what she was supposed to do. I think it would have had a little bit more impact if, when she was escaping, she had a throat slit.
No. I think it was
because all you got was a stab in the back. It's graphic, and the fact that she had to watch her mother die but I feel like for this movie, I don't know, there needed to be a bit more in that attack.
Think about the angle.
For me.
Think about the angle. She can see the stabbing.
But it's only one, like we only see it once.
That's enough for traumatize the kid.
That is more than enough.
But what I'm saying is, when we go back to that scene, more's happened. There's blood everywhere.
They messed up the body.
We didn't see it. So maybe that scene was longer, is what I'm saying.
Maybe. But
maybe that scene was longer.
I only gotta see my mama get stabbed once to
realize. I know, but and look, it's very out of character for me to say that, but I feel like it would have.
You wanted more impact, didn't you? It felt like she fizzled out.
I wanted more trauma points. I wanted to
I don't know. I felt it. Her saying "mommy." I mean, her saying "mommy." It felt.
Anytime.
Do you reckon Kinsey realized at that moment that she was a little bitch?
No. The thing that this movie points out to me is you parents love your children too much.
I
Like,
don't know.
bye!
I don't know. After today, I'm feeling like I love them, but I need a break.
Like, these parents love.
Are you climbing out the trailer first? Are you, Katie? Climbing out first.
I don't know that much.
Let Bobby go
I
first.
don't know that much, but I think I am going out for a pack of smokes and not coming right back.
So poor
See you
Kinsey.
later.
Poor Kinsey has watched her mother, get knifed, and she's running out. She's running out into the wilderness of the trailer park, the abandoned trailer park. Meanwhile, Luke and his dad are, rediscovering the horror of, just the jaw. They had a lot of fun with those two. They had a lot of fun. At least they found the gun this time. They found the gun. And they found out that how they knew that they were coming. Like, they set all of this up because they heard the message on the answering machine. Like, again, it's this messed up, fucked up thing of fate, just being in the wrong place at the wrong time. They set them up to the trailer where they wanted them to be, so they would be isolated. It's just like, it's so gross. Like, so that grosses me out. I'm like, oh no. That's so good. So
now,
we see
I know you're
probably.
I know you're going to probably bring up the soundtrack as well. Like, but they use the soundtrack to this, and that's kind of why I threw on a little bit of 80s, because they really lean into all that 80s. Yes, baby. Is that why you've got a headband on?
No, that's because I didn't wash my hair today.
That's
so
gross.
The way I look at it, the way I like to compare it is the silence in the last film and the music being used to unnerve and cover up and all that kind of thing. This movie just comes in at full decibels and goes, we're gonna fucking. It's almost like they don't care who he is in this one, because all of the music is like A, 80s like rock, pop rock, but B, at ear-splitting levels, like in the middle of the night, and it's
I don't
used
think
really effectively
I can listen
to scare.
to Tiffany's I Think We're Alone Now the same way ever again.
The
that's
best
one of my
trailer
favorite 80s
ever.
bangers.
Best trailer, right?
The best trailer.
I think we're alone now. It's like, yes. So at least Mike finds a gun. Mike finds a gun and shoots. I don't know why you would ever let a gun out of your hand, but they are well and truly like fucking ready to rumble. Yeah, they find poor mum. I think that Martin Henderson's performance is great in here when he's like, oh, this is shit, but don't let the kids see. Like, that's he's a good dad. I feel sorry for him because what happens next is really pretty fucked up for him. That's a horrible situation to be. They're going to find Kinsey because once again Kinsey's run off and
being a little
trouble.
bitch.
They get something. I don't know what it is. Thrown through their windshield. They crash their car, and poor Mike is impaled. Oh my god, by a fucking wooden beam that takes him out of the equation, well and truly. And this scene with him and the sack-headed guy is just so. It reminds me of the last scene in the last movie. Just that hopelessness where he knows what's going to happen. Like, he already knows when he comes to and this is fucking stuck in him that he's not going to make it. And he tells his son that he's proud of him. It's like, he knows he's going to die. But I think there's a big difference about knowing you're going to die from this horrible accident to knowing you're going to die when there's a fucking serial killer sitting next to you with an ice pick. Like, that complete desperation, frustration, fear, but resignation was he played it so well. I was like, Martin Henderson. I can't imagine like being in that situation, knowing you're gonna die, and
Was
waiting,
that Cambodia?
just waiting. What?
The song was it Cambodia?
Yeah, and just waiting, not knowing what that fucking guy is gonna do to you, but knowing you're not getting out of there alive. That's so terrifying. So terrifying and really sad, actually. Like, as I said, this one took me on a bit of an emotional roller coaster. I'm like, these parents loved their kids so fucking much that they both died for them. It's like, okay, cool.
Well, you would. It's like, that's understandable.
Yeah.
Oh,
I mean, like, the idea is not to die, but you know.
They died in a horrible
fight
way.
as hard as you can to survive. Yeah. The idea is not to die, but yeah.
Yeah, it's just like, oh, the ice pick. Oh.
You know, because if you die, this guy's going to end up eating your body.
Yeah. So Kinsey's still running around at this point. Running around. Gets stabbed by Dollface. But her brother saves her. That, I don't know, again, this is, fucked up horror movie thing. If I hear a fucking Jack in the Box playing, the last thing I'm going to do is go towards that sound.
Probably not after my parents are dead.
No. Probably. Oh, Katie's cat's trying to kill her.
We established that.
Like, yeah, I love her. She'll give me the gun, I'll shoot her. Give me the gun, I'll shoot her. I'm like, yeah, I'm not a violent person, but I think if I'd seen my aunt and uncle dismembered and then, pretty much left my dad to fucking die, I'd be shooting people.
Yep.
Oh, yep.
Easy. Straight away. Point blank in the face multiple times.
Mm-hmm.
Like, no,
see, we're older. These are kids still. Like, I can see the hesitation there. But, like, as people that have probably seen some shit, if you're in that situation, it's kill or be killed. Fucking shoot that bitch.
Now,
again, as Steve said, I'm not going near Jack in the Box, puppets, dolls.
no.
Trailer parks.
Yeah.
Okay, that's getting real classist there, Luke. Yeah. Real fine line.
So this
I'm just saying, sometimes bad shit happens in a trailer park.
Yeah, this next thing caught me by surprise because I forgot about it. After they escaped Dollface. I was like, oh yeah, we're having a moment. Like, yeah, we're tough. And then a fucking truck comes through the trailer. I totally forgot about that. I was like, what the fuck? That's crazy. So they managed to escape. I don't know how. How does
anyone escape these movies? They get out in the weirdest fucking ways. I don't get it.
And the chase scene here, like where they have to split up, is
again
intense. I know, but like I feel the tension here. With her running around.
Did you feel it was justified they split up this time?
Yeah, look, I get that he was moving faster than her, so it made sense, but I still wouldn't have done it.
No, I wouldn't.
I still wouldn't have split up.
That felt very
tempting
to me.
Yeah, it did. But that scene of her in the child's playground area with the truck circling, and you're like, "Why are you doing this?" We haven't even begun yet. You're like, fuck off! Where do you come from? You can't. I would have like again.
So much.
There would have been feces everywhere.
You Code brown. Trail of shit wherever you go. Apparently,
I would.
Code
and
brown.
You know what? I would. I would hope
anal aneurysm.
I would hope it would just disturb people that much.
Don't kill me. I've already shit myself.
Kinsey's under the porch, and Luke, I got us out of sync there, but I had to mention it because that scene was intense. I was like, oh, fucking mask out of nowhere.
I hate her so much. I've never hated someone so much in my life.
And when he goes into that store, and all of a sudden she's behind him, and then she's gone, and there's a noise over here. It's like, oh, for fuck's sake, this kid. I'm like, oh my God, run. I was like, don't even want to deal with it. And then they force him out into the pool area.
A very nice pool area.
A very nice pool
how
area.
cute was that pool?
Mm-hmm.
Very cute.
Very nice pool area in a trailer park. Imagine that, Luke.
You know what, actually, Katie? A lot of the holiday parks here, the caravan parks where people holiday, have amazing pools. There's one here in town that's not open to the public because all the public wanted to go there. They're like, nope, you need a reservation to use it, and we don't let anyone in this postcode reserve here.
So they I remember I actually saw this one at the cinemas. I managed to see this movie.
I did too.
I thought
and this was a cheer moment when, out of nowhere, fucking the pinup girl comes running and he fucking clobbers her with that golf club. She got fucking 86. She got 86.
Good.
And then
deserved it.
The smartest thing I think I've seen in a horror movie. Stabby, stab, 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 stab.
Mm-hmm.
She gone.
That's like the smartest thing anyone in that family did.
That pool scene, that was tense making. So well shot too. So well shot. Like,
it's actually making me want to rewatch again because this is the one I've seen most recently. But I could go it again.
When it happened, like everything above the water is so calm, and the music's playing, and under the water they're fighting. Like, that was so well shot. But I was like, and even what like as soon as he turned it, like the last thing I would do would turn my back on any of those fucking mask killers. Like, I thought he was done. I was like,
especially with that part of the song, just turn around, like, oh, you dead.
It's like we know what happens in that part of the song when it's in a horror movie. Choppity chop chop.
Urban legend already showed us that.
Yeah, exactly. But even though it was violent,
that was super violent.
The blood in the pool was a beautiful shot. Like, it was beautifully shot.
Mm-hmm.
Beautifully shot violence, and like, I like that they're upping the stakes now. You know, as Luke said, he's like, I took one of yours. I'm like, yeah. Now, like, the game's getting a bit easier, a bit more evenly pegged. So, again, and I like what they do with sound in this movie. Not only the songs, but when there's trauma, there's like that disassociative, like, filter where it's like you're hearing things underwater, especially when he's like when Kidsy's dragging him out of the water and he's barely conscious. Then he snaps back into it. He's like, "Oh, I'm here." I thought that was really interestingly done.
Did not
that sound design. I know. I forgot about it. I'm like, oh, fuck, he dies in the pool, doesn't he? And then I was like, no, wait, I swear he died. And then it's like I was on a bit of a
thing, like, I swear he died. Like,
for some reason, I thought he got hacked to pieces with the axe in the pool, but
yeah,
it's all good.
I thought the same thing. I thought she found
maybe we Mandela affected it or something, but it's all good. We does a good sister thing. She's coming into her power finally. A bit late, but
sister,
whatever.
Get it.
She hides her brother and goes, it's fucked up as she is, to get help. And then out of nowhere, a fucking deputy's car. It's like, where have you been?
Could it come like half an hour ago when Mum and Dad were still alive?
They're never helpful.
Neither is this guy, because
in the movies they're just
because this guy is sliced up as soon as he gets there. And that is like, and I've really liked Bailey Madison's reaction to the violence when it happens, because she has this disbelief, like, when you see people in shock, like that, like she portrays that well. She's like, oh fuck. And you can see her process and go, oh shit, right, I gotta run. Gets into that car and oh my god, the hands with the knife and the cutting and the stabbing but again, another woohoo moment was that pause before that shotgun blast.
No.
I was like, do it. And then all of a sudden, bam. And I remember in the cinemas, people were like cheering when that happened.
It wasn't meant to, I don't think, but that was very House of a Thousand Corpses. Not dragged out as long as it was. But that pause was just very.
Yeah. And you're like, that was like a fuck yeah moment.
Yeah, it's like
fuck yeah moment. Like, yes, girl, you do it. And this is where, like, Kidsy's balled up. You know, she's like, I'm ready to go. Takes off the mask, and again, the scariest thing is it's just a normal girl underneath that mask. Could have been anyone. Why are you doing this? Why not? That's scary too. It's not even just because you're home. It's just because we fucking felt like it this time. But
thanks.
Not the right answer because you're getting fucking shot in the head with a shotgun. I was like, okay, that's
girl.
awesome. That's bye girl. So that's 2 strangers down. There's only one left, and it's the big hulking scary one who decides to take out the police car with his fucking truck. You know, it's kind of really fucked it up. I do love the twist of the truck getting stuck in the petrol, and then the whole thing of her smoking has been an issue. She's like, bye bye, motherfucker. Bang bang. And we thought it was over. Like, I was like, okay, what a cool ending. And then, like, she's stumbling away as you do, and the fucking thing starts coming for her on fire. It's like the nightmare that you can't wake up from. Like, of course, this flaming truck with a burning serial killer is now chasing me across the bridge until it stops. You know, it's nightmare fuel. It's like, this guy is never gonna stop. He's not stopping until he actually does. Like the injuries get him, and he stops, he drops, and Kinsey's out. What a fake out. I forgot about it.
Where have we seen that before?
I forgot about it. I forgot about this fake out, and it made me a little bit angry, but then I was like, fuck yeah, that's awesome. She flags down an oncoming motorist, and you see that woman back away, and like, oh, it's because she's covered in blood. Then all of a sudden you see an axe, like, oh, fuck, he's not dead. And then we do our big Texas Chainsaw Massacre moment, you know. But the great, and again, calling back to her, you know, her baseball days, she takes care of him with that baseball bat. Well and truly cracks that skull, leaves him for dead on the highway. Maybe. As the sun comes up again, you know, this all happens in a night. We find Kinsey waking up in a hospital with Luke, you know, on life support until she hears a Jack in the Box and a knock at the door.
Camera?
Go to black. Cut to black. Roll the credits. It's like, oh, for fuck's sake. Oh my God. But
where could they go from there? Are they dead or alive? They killed them unless there was more strangers and they just took turns being whoever.
You never know. And I think that we won't know until this next trilogy and where it sits. But let's look at the facts, folks. After waiting for 10 years and being in development hell, this movie only had a $5 million budget, as opposed to the original film's $9 million budget, but still managed to make $32.1 million, which is no small return, you know, on your...
No. Pumped it.
On your little... Yeah. It's like... Whew. And it was filmed, like, obviously it was filmed really quickly, began filming in June 2017, and finished by July 10th of the same year. Released in October. So they went full force. Oh, no, sorry, it was released in March in 2018. Sorry, my bad. So the other movies at the time that were released at the same time were Hurricane Heist, for those of us that remember those.
No.
Gringo and A Wrinkle in
Gringo.
Time. But
Yeah,
this movie
none of
finished.
them were memorable.
Yes, but this
Was it
movie,
Get the Gringo?
finished.
The one with Mel Gibson?
No, it's just called Gringo.
No.
I don't know what it is. And
I
then
think that's
this
it.
movie finished third, but do you know what was number one?
What?
A little movie called Black Panther. This movie had no no chance.
Yeah,
No chance.
no. Gringo.
So it makes sense.
Had Charlize Theron in it.
Well, look, and horror films always don't attract that huge audience. So when they still do well and can still be number 3, it's pretty good, because remember, you've got a limited audience too. See, all the teenagers and stuff are seeing the number 1 film, whereas this film was rated R.
Not even. Black Panther was a cultural moment.
Oh,
like,
it was massive.
Yeah,
Titanic would have been number 2 to Black Panther.
Yeah.
Like,
but
and
I
Black
think
Panther was a masterpiece in general. It was
I
so
think
good.
that this movie deserves to be checked out. I think just as strong as the last movie is in its conceit of, isolationist horror and, it happening in one night in one house, this movie opens up the world and doesn't disappoint. The only thing I would have liked is a bigger chase scene, and something a bit more for Christina Hendricks. But I'm going to go 3 out of 3 for this one as well. I forgot how much I enjoyed this movie until I watched it again. I'm like, holy balls. Like, the soundtrack, the pacing, everything was good. The teenage actors were fantastic. And it kind of just upped things a level. And I think if the first movie was for people who really get behind the killers, this movie is for people who are like, yeah, let's see the killers get some, which is nice to see in a slasher movie that, they can get some grisly death. What about Luke? We'll go with you first because Katie went first last time. What do you say out of 3 creepy masks?
Out of 3 creepy masks, I'll give this one 2.5. I think the first film was all pretty much a masterpiece of horror. I think this is a very solid film, a very, very good sequel. So I can't really fault it. I just think there was just little minor issues, and one of them was, the mother's death, I think, needed something else to it. I think it needed some more tension or drama or something. It just felt like that snuffed out moment, but then that's probably what they were going for. But for me, it was like, is that really it? But it's not just because of her. There was just a few little things that I have to drop at half a mask because it wasn't as good as the first one.
Fair enough. Lovely, Katie. Before you're murdered by your own animals.
And they're sleeping. They're over it. I have to agree with Luke. It's a 2.5 for me. It didn't feel it's a vibe for sure, but it just doesn't feel as strong. It doesn't keep me as hyped up as the other one did. For some reason, I just don't care as much about these characters. Like, I care.
Kinsey's a little bitch.
Kinsey is a bitch, but I still care about her. I still cared how she turned out. Still cared about her, and still cared that her and Luke got through it, but just not nearly as much as